Hi, I'm Anita Branier, and today we're going to be making beignets, one of my favorite New Orleans treats. Really easy to make at home. Don't fall for the box mix. They're usually not as good as the homemade ones. So let's get started. This is what you'll need. You'll need 7 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt. You'll need a cup of evaporated milk. You'll need a half a cup of sugar. You'll need some yeast, a package of yeast or 2½ teaspoons of yeast, warm water of course, 2 eggs, and a little dash of nutmeg. Okay, so this is really simple. We have 1½ cups of warm water, and remember the test, if you can touch it and it's fairly warm, it's probably okay. You don't want it too hot because then it will kill the yeast. Okay, so we're going to put that in there and we're going to let that float a little bit. Okay, and let's just stir it up a little bit, make sure it's dissolved. Okay, after you put your yeast in, we're going to add our sugar, which is a ½ cup of sugar, our eggs, 2 eggs, and yes, these have been put out so that they are room temperature. Okay, 2 eggs. Add our milk to this. That's a cup of evaporated milk. All right, we're going to turn this mixer on and we're going to blend all of this really well. Okay, after it's blended, we're going to start adding our flour and let that blend really well. Okay, after you put your 4 cups of flour in, then you're going to add your 1/4 cup of shortening, softened shortening. And that is just the Crisco butter flavored shortening. After that's blended up, we're going to add the rest of our flour. Okay, you can see how it's not sticking to the bowl as much. Alright, so I'm going to add the rest of this and let that go for a while. So that's it. This is your dough. And you can see it's a little bit sticky, but that's okay. It's just, you just want to make sure it's all together. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to take some plastic wrap and we're going to cover it up, and that is going to go into the refrigerator overnight. So that's the beauty about this. If you start early in the morning, you can put your dough together and put it in the refrigerator, and 8 or 9 hours later, maybe that evening, you can roll out your dough and make your beignets. But usually what I do is Saturday night, I make a batch, put it in the fridge, let it sit overnight, then Sunday morning when I get up, I just roll them out and deep fry them. And depending on if this rises tonight or tomorrow morning, I'll get back with you and show you how to fry them. So good luck with that and have fun. Okay, so here we go. After about 8 hours, we have, a little sticky here on top, we have our dough, which has risen almost the top of the bowl. And you're just going to punch it down like this. Okay. Might want to put some flour on your hands and get it out of there. Look at that dough. All right. It feels really good too. It feels kind of soft and cold. All right. Now we're going to take some flour and just kind of rub it around a little bit so we get this off. Okay, some more flour in there. We're going to be able to roll it out. This, I know you can't feel this, but this really feels good. Really feels like a good dough. Okay, so definitely we're not going to make all of this tonight because it would be way too much. So I'm probably just going to cut this in half. Now this can go back in the fridge, and I'll tell you about that later. Okay, so we're going to take our flour on our mat and we're just going to press this out. Put some on your rolling pin and just kind of press it out, roll it out, And what you want to do is try to get like a good sized rectangle. Okay. Take it from the middle and stretch it out to the sides. You can stretch it a little bit this way also. Just stretch it a little bit. Roll it out. Now you want to try to get to the thickness about 1/4 inch, I imagine would be right, like this. And you're going to take a knife or spatula or something like that. You're going to cut like 2-inch squares. So I would cut it like this, all the way down. All right. And don't worry about these, you can use those later. All right, so I want mine really square, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this little part off here. All right. So here's the size you want, about like this, okay? So it'll be about 2 inches square. They don't have to be exact, but if they're uniform, then they'll fry a little bit better. Go ahead and try them at 325. If you have a fry baby or something, you could just set that temperature. It'll have that dial on there, and you can set that temperature. It'll be perfect. Okay, I've got my oil going here, about 2 inches good of oil, and I can go ahead and drop one in, and you can see as it starts to bubble, you know it's ready. So we're going to drop these in quickly. Do about 4 or 5 at a time. Don't want to crowd it out. Look and see how quickly they'll pop up. So let them pop up a little bit. I mean, and sometimes I just kind of bathe them a little bit just to make sure they pop up. Okay, and as soon as it turns golden on the edges, then flip them over, like so. And see, I can have different sizes going here. But it doesn't take long. It's just a couple of seconds on each side. As soon as they turn golden, they're done. Okay, so I'm going to drain this over on a paper towel. And I'll do a couple of these and then I'll show you the finished product. Okay, so after you drain on your paper towels for a little bit, you can plate them on a nice plate. Look at these, how puffy they are. All right. And then, of course, you need some powdered sugar. And a little more. These are absolute, they just smell wonderful. Okay. And some more powdered sugar. And there you go. There's your Café de Monde beignets. Whew. I might have to eat that one. It's got my name on it. Okay, so here's something else you need to know about your dough. Well, I only used half of the dough and it's made a whole lot. But you can keep that in the refrigerator for almost a week. Just peel off a little bit, roll it out. If you just want to make, say, 10 or 12 donuts, then just make that many and put the rest in the fridge. You can also freeze your beignets, and you can take them out and put them in a Ziploc bag and just freeze them. So then when you want to use them, you just take them out of the freezer and let them thaw at room temperature, and then you just fry them up. So there you go. Enjoy your beignets. Thank you.